Welcome to the Motivational Medium podcast. I'm Anne-Marie Lord, a psychic medium, author, and the founder of the Motivational Medium Academy. On this podcast, we'll explore intriguing topics such as mediumship, psychic abilities, and the amazing idea that we all have intuition within us. Whether you're a believer, skeptic, or somewhere in between, get ready to unlock your extraordinary potential as we discover the supernatural world together. If you want your questions featured on the show, be sure to join my tribe by subscribing to my newsletter at annemarielord.com. Let's go. Hello, my friends. Welcome to today's podcast. I wanted to talk to you today about animals, our beautiful animals that we love and we cherish. Lots of people come to see me for lots of different reasons. Obviously, mediumship is a big one, why people come. But when I talk to people about coming to see me for mediumship, a lot of people would think that it was just to connect with their loved ones in spirit. So obviously animals are loved ones in spirit as well. But, you know, we think about mums and dads and children and brothers and sisters, etc. But not a lot of people think about animals. And I do so many readings for people, and it's to connect them with their loved ones in spirit. That just might be a hamster, a horse, a dog, a cat, a bunny rabbit even. I've connected with the lot. So when you think about, well, how do animals communicate with me so that I can give messages of validation to their loved ones? Now, this gets quite confusing because I am definitely not a Dr. Dolittle. I don't connect or I can't speak animal. However, when we go to the spirit world, I talk to you guys a lot about, and in my new book, there's a whole chapter on pets and how they connect with us. But what I talk to people about is how I receive my messages. Now, to receive my messages is through feeling, thought, seeing, and hearing. So there's a lot of, you may have heard of the clairs. So clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, claircognitive. And this is using all your senses to listen, if you like. I know that sounds crazy because when you say listen, you think it was just ears. But to listen and to know what you are hearing, what you are feeling, what you are seeing, and what you are tasting, if you like. And that is all how I connect with our animals. When we go to the spirit world, obviously our physical body is no longer. And what we go to the spirit world, or as some people call, we go back home, it's our energy. So that's what I connect with loved ones in spirit, is energy. And they drop thoughts, feelings, senses into my being, if you like, and I interpret what it is that they're trying to say. Now, this is exactly the same with animals. Now, not long ago, I had a lady come to see me, and she'd lost one of her animals. And what this animal had shown me that he just curled up and went asleep. He had no pain. He didn't feel anything. And he was old. And he'd also suggested that he was older than she knew. Now, she'd got this animal. What? This sounds crazy. But she had obtained this animal through finding him outside. And what he showed me was he was so hot. He was ready to leave this earth. And he was rescued. And this was exactly what had happened. It was a 40-degree day. And she'd found this animal under a bush in someone's garden and didn't know how old he was and didn't know anything much about him, but she absolutely loved him, took him home and kept him. Now, this animal actually had the run of her house. He was a rabbit and he had the run of the house and the run of her room. He told me that he would poo on the floor which her mum would go crazy about. These are all validation stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking, how am I actually doing this? Even down to his name. All these things, all this validation was to let her know that her beautiful loved one in spirit was still there, still showing her signs, still grateful for her finding him that day and taking care of him and looking after him. I've even brought through horses. I've brought through lots of dogs, lots of cats, guinea pigs, rabbits, and they've all come through with the same thing as what humans do. They come through and drop images and thoughts into my head, validation that they are still well, happy, and very appreciative of the love that they received while they were here on earth, and that they give that love back to their loved ones, their parent, if you like, that looked after them when they were here. Now, this brings a lot of comfort to people. And I know that through having my beautiful Angel, who was my dog that was 16 and we had to have him put to sleep last year, this was such a sad time for us. And because he was 16, he was very, very loved, but he was really not well. Now, he showed me lots of signs. You know, I don't know whether you remember on one of the podcasts I spoke about, I always talk about number plates, how I get my signs. And your animals will still be trying to send you signs as well. So I was out in the shopping centre and it was the day after Angel had gone to sleep. And I was really, really still very upset about losing him, because even though I know he was free and he was out of pain, I still knew that I physically was not going to see him anymore, and he was going to be a big part of our lives that was missing. Anyway, I was asking for signs, you know, when you're ready, you can show me some signs, because I struggle to read for myself. I can read perfectly clear for other people, but just not for myself. And what happened was me and my daughter got into the car, and the car in front of us, he was only tiny, little tiny dog. He was a cross between a Shih Tzu and a Chihuahua. So he was really, really tiny. We used to call him the little shit because he was quite yappy. But when we got, or the wee shit, that's what we used to call him. And when we got into the car, he was just so loved by us all. And when we got into the car, my daughter said to me, "Oh, Mum, look at the number plate that's on the car in front of us." And when we looked, it had "Wee Angel" on the number plate. And two of us just burst into tears. And it was like, thank you for the signs. You know, we know you're okay. And then when we turned the car on the radio was Robbie Williams' "I'm Loving Angels" instead. We were absolutely overjoyed that we got this message, that we got our sign. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Your signs can come not only from your loved ones in spirit, like your parents or your family members or your friends, but your signs can also come from your animals. So keep visual. You know, keep looking out for them signs. Yours might come on number plates like mine did. You know, I was talking to someone the other day. As you know, or may not even know, but I'm writing my second book. It's going to be called Motivational Medium. Of course it is. Well, that's the title I'm running with at the moment, but things could change. So watch this space. But as I'm writing the book, I was talking to a friend of mine about one of the chapters, and I was talking about our signs and, you know, how we get our signs, and animals can give us these signs. And I was also talking about interpreting them signs. Now, if you're looking for signs from your dad or from your mum or from your person in the spirit world, and you're looking for butterflies and dragonflies and willy wagtails, and they were so far from a willy wagtail person or a dragonfly person, then that isn't going to be your sign. Think about who your person was. Think about, what did they like in life? What did they stand for?
I love number plates. I love that I can get my signs from number plates. It's my thing. I don't know why, it just always happened. And also music. You know, my mum loved music. She loved to dance. She loved to sing. And that's where I get my signs from my mum, is through music all the time. So think about your person. You know, if your person loved motorbikes, then you're going to get your signs from motorbikes. If your person was a musical person, then you're going to get your signs from music. If your person was a plant person, then you're going to find a certain type of plant in the middle of a field where there's no other plant like that around. These are your signs. You know, you don't have to come to a medium to get validation that your loved ones are around you all the time. I love it when you come to me because it's like a three-way conversation. I'm going to do a whole podcast on about being a medium and what it's like and some of the things I get to see and get to witness within this journey. But you do not need a medium. If you open up your heart and your mind to listen or look for these signs and be accepting of them. I'm not saying really, go into your loved ones and demand, please come on, show me the sign, because it's too pushed. You're not going to see them. Just know what your person stood for. Know what your animal stood for. What did your animal love to do? Spend time with you. This is where you will get your signs. If you go to a place where you and your animal spend time, this is where you'll get your signs. You might even get your signs in dreams. Don't discount dreams. Dreams are a huge part of their connection with us. When I was building my house, I had a dream about my mum, and we'd gone and looked at certain groups of housing companies. There was lots of companies, and at the moment, everyone can find a negative and a positive with every company. So it's hard to know what person or what company to go with. So I thought, who do I trust? I trust my mum. So I said to my husband, you know what? We'll get shown a sign who the person is that we need to go to. Anyway, I didn't know how that was going to come. I actually thought it was going to come through number plates or signs on a car that I always, my thing is always cars and number plates, as you know. But that's how I thought I was going to get my sign. I was to see a lot of these cars on the roads to say it was a specific company to go with. But now it was a dream. And what happened was I could see my mum, and she took me back home to England. And she said to me, come round the corner. She said, I've got something to show you. And when I went round the corner, there was a huge scaffold, and it had all this tarpaulin. And she pulled down the tarpaulin, and there was a huge red sign. And I said to her, okay, so the one with the red sign is the person to go with. And she said, no, the red name. Now, we were looking at a few companies, but we ended up going with a company called Red Ink. And she did say to me there was going to be a little bit of back and forward with documents in the beginning. And there was. And then she said it would go okay. So fingers crossed she was right about that. So that's what we did. I looked for my signs. And this is how much I trust that we can connect with our loved ones in spirit. Trust your signs. Yeah, because they will be trying to show you and give you direction, exactly the same as your loved animals in the spirit world. They loved you so much. It's love that keeps us all connected. They loved you and you loved them. So they're not just going to leave you the way you think they are, and just your connected relatives or friends are going to keep connected with you. No, your animals can stay connected too. So watch out for the signs from your beautiful animals. Yeah. And, you may even find a medium like me who can connect with your loved ones, your animals in the spirit world. They come through, and it's like, I remember doing a reading for a guy, and his family were Chinese. Now, I don't speak Chinese, and the guy who was connecting with me, he'd never spoke English, but I knew exactly what he wanted to relay, because mediumship isn't about the same voice. It's about the medium's interpretation of the signs and the images and the thoughts that are dropped into their mind. They interpret them, they give them to you, and it is validated. Just before I leave you, I wanted to say to you, when you do see your signs from your beautiful animals in the spirit world, say thank you, acknowledge them, and give them a little heartwarming smile. They will appreciate it. I will talk to you all in another podcast about mediumship, how it works, what to expect, and how to get the best out of your mediumship reading. Take care, guys. Have an absolute beautiful week, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this show. It's important to note that while I'm here to inspire, encourage and guide you, I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist or a doctor. Join me again in 2 weeks for more captivating revelations on the supernatural. Remember to be in with a chance to have your questions answered on the podcast. Subscribe to my newsletter at amarylord.com. Stay in the tribe to vibe. I appreciate you guys. See you next time.